Today's TrueFire Artist Spotlight is Chris Buono. As an educator, Chris has taught guitarists from all over the world through Berklee College of Music, TrueFire, and many, many others. Chris is responsible for 39 TrueFire courses, including the celebrated Guitar Gym series, 8 instructional books on guitar and music technology, and nearly 50 Guitar Magazine articles. Today, we'd like to feature 3 free lessons from Chris's courses: 30 funk rhythms you must know, 60 electric guitar techniques you must know, and practice sessions bending workouts.
Rhythm number 7, P-Fuse 72. We are going to take some elements of what we've already studied, put them together, and do this. Check it out. P-Fuse 72 is going to introduce a concept here we're going to continue with throughout the course. We're going to take ideas and mush them together. We're going to take some influences from Spotlight, which we just did, and we're going to take some David Fiuczynski ideas from the first Screaming Headless Torsos record from a tune called Vinny, and we're also going to bring in a James Brown vibe once again, this time from Soul Power 74, and put it together into this, this jam we have here, this 8-bar thing, that moves in minor thirds. Remember in Mortal Kombat, we started out in F and went down to D. Well, this time we're starting in B minor and going up to D. It's a cool diminished thing that just happened there. Anyway, we start with this minor 7, 705 voicing that we just checked out in Spotlight. What we're going to do is make some Dorian movements here. I'm grabbing onto these double stops with bars. Bar in there with the first finger, bar in there with the third finger. I'm putting all these scratches in the middle, so there is a little bit of, we're talking about space at one point. Now we're starting to fill in that space, and it works here. So we got to know when to do it and when not to do it. This is the time you do it. So those last double stops I just played are perfect fourths. There's hammer-ons that connect them. Notice I start with a bar, but I use my third and fourth finger to hammer. It just gives me more accuracy, because if I try to do it with a barred third finger, I might activate that second string by mistake. Not the worst thing in the world, but that's not what I want. I just want that 2-note perfect fourth thing. Second half of what's happening in B minor is, once again, the minor 7. But I'm going to walk it down. That's the Soul Power vibe, kind of what's going on in that riff. And I'm going to answer that with kind of this harmonized minor blues lick, but with fourths below. And again, I'm using my third and fourth fingers to do the bulk of the work. Okay. Moving this up a minor third to D minor. I'm going to take a lot of the same ideas. Going to reiterate some themes. I'm going to start out with the minor 7 and bounce up to that high double stop, that perfect fourth. But we're going to bring it down to a minor 6. Going to get right into it. And then give the space. No scratches, no nothing. Let some breathing room come in. Come back in. And then throw in this bend. A bend, release, and a pull off down a whole step. Repeat what we just did in the first bar here in D minor. And then set it up to turn this around. We're using that Soul Power vibe again. Different key, but same thing. That descending. Minor 7, minor 6, down to minor 7, and using a first inversion major chord to superimpose that to get that sound. That is the top half of 7 sharp 9, and we're going to be throwing that all over the place, but never use it in the way that kind of seems to be the typical way to use it in funk rhythms. We're not doing it. So anyway, we're playing the top half, or really the top 75% of an F sharp 7 sharp 9. No root. Because we're keeping with the voicings. It's all 3 notes, adjacent string voicings, basically on the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd string. Wiggle that around a little bit, give it some pitch modulation, and it sets up a 5-to-1 cadence. F sharp 7 sets up B minor, and that's how we get back to the top. There it is. Pinch harmonics are a fun special effect that could be dropped in on a riff or a lick, and they sound like this. Looking at standard notation and tablature, you will see normal harmonic notation where the note head is turned into a diamond and the numbers in tablature are surrounded by a diamond. Added to that will be a pH on top. That'll signify pinch harmonic. And sometimes you'll even see the pitch of the harmonic put above the letters. Pinch harmonics add an element of wow to your playing. It's almost like turning on LED lights where they make that big flash. So to get this sound, what you're going to do is apply the same concept you do when you're playing any other type of harmonic. Take a natural harmonic where you lightly touch right above the fret on top of the string that you're trying to produce the harmonic. Now in this case, I'll have a fretted note, and I could do this with open strings, but I'm going to have a fretted note here. I'm going to pick that note, but directly following the pick, I'm going to make sure that the string, or I'm going to make sure that my thumb makes contact with the string. So the skin of my thumb acts in the same way as the skin of my fret hand fingering does when I'm doing natural harmonics with open strings. So the same way I did this is the same way that I would get this. You can hear there's a little bit of an extra pick attack in there. And I am trying to accent that initial attack because directly following that is going to be my thumb grazing over. I almost slide across and make that contact, activating that harmonic. So technically, the pinch harmonic starts out as a non-pinch harmonic, but it quickly becomes one. It's so quick you can't hear it, but overall it does add to a different type of attack. Wherever your hand is will change the pitch of that harmonic. So going along with the same ideas behind harmonics, where you play is going to determine that pitch, and it's all determined by distances. But at the end of the day, a pinch harmonic usually is just something that you go for. You're just going for that sound, that really bright electric lightning bolt that comes out when you play a pinch harmonic the right way at the right time. Now we're going to look at double stop bends, also known as pedal steel bends. Why? Because they sound like a pedal steel. They don't have to, but a lot of times they do. Double stops. What are double stops? That's a nickname that has been given to two-note instances, combinations, dyads of like this. Perfect fourths, thirds, minor thirds. Now, if I bend within those double stops, and that's where we get double stop bends. So what I'm doing is I'm bending the lower note while I hold the higher note, or taking it to another level. I can bend a note and play more than one note on the higher note. We're not doing that just yet. What we're going to do is just play with something that's, one single note that is the higher note while we bend something on a lower adjacent string. And we're going to do it on the third and second string, G and B string sets, and the B and E string sets. Of course, we need all of the techniques that we've been working on, and it's very important that by now we're starting to get a feel for where bends should go, how they feel when we play those bends at certain places on the neck on certain strings. That's definitely going to help. Our ears should be getting in tune with being in tune, picking up on when you're there and when you're not there, regardless of the feel. They both are there. They're both components you should be paying attention to. Whatever one takes over or is the dominant thing that works for you, that's fine. The end result needs to be bends in tune. The priority is the pitch. So we're going to play, we're going to start out with this lick. We're going to have a tracks in the key of F. It's got this Rush vibe, actually. In addition to me and Steve being huge Van Halen fans, we are also monster Rush fans. We saw R40 together, which, yeah, that was very cool. So this progression is going to go 1, 6, 5, 3, which in F is F, D minor, C to A minor. We're going to play stuff that, you know, speaks to those changes directly. So what I'm doing there, I'm right here in the 10th position. And what I'm doing is I'm bending to a whole step above on the 3rd string, which in this case for the chord is its 3rd. And I'm going to hold that C with my 4th finger the entire time I'm doing what I'm doing, which is this. So just like a unison bend, and just like we had that open A string going on when we were doing the wound string bends, the note, the static note, in this case it's a higher note, doesn't lie. So we have to be in tune, because if we're not, it just doesn't work. There's something also I just thought of, and I don't know if you've noticed it. This guitar has a floating bridge on it, and it can go back and forth. If you're trying to do what I'm doing on a guitar that is set up like that, you will definitely notice something that's not happening on this guitar, because that bridge is locked right now. But if you have a floating bridge, or even just a tremolo system that goes down only, when you bend, you are changing the tension of all 6 of those strings that depend on almost a symbiotic relationship, you know, a setup where those springs are meant to stay in a certain place because the way you are tuned. Now, when you bend, you interrupt that relationship, and the result is pulling the bridge forward. So when you do something that involves other strings, like when you bend on your own without that, you'll find that you need to bend a little bit higher, because you're compensating for the bridge going down, which is, you know, flattening the tuning of the string, or all of them. So when you do that with another note involved, you know, that's going to go down too. So it becomes a little bit of a cat and mouse chase to get them in tune. And at the end, no matter what you do, it's still out of tune altogether. So the moral of the story is maybe you want to be doing this on a fixed bridge, but if not, I'll give you a trick. Rest your palm against the bridge, and as you bend, just apply just a little bit of pressure, and it'll offset that forward motion. Okay. With that little bit of a tip there, let's see what we're playing. So like I said, we're going to bend, get the double stop, hold it, play the note again, and then do the bend itself. And then it's kind of like a call and response. That's the call, here's the response. So double stop, come down, and then get this other dyad. It's perfect 5th dyad, which are all chord tones, by the way. Well, not this. You know what I'm saying. For the D minor, we're going to take the same exact idea over to the higher string set, but it's the same stuff, same idea of playing. Whole step bend, catch that note, hold it, play it again, then do the double stop bend. Then respond. Take that up a whole step to play what's going to happen for C. Notice that fingering is different. It's a different interval. It's a 5th, but it's a different fingering. I didn't go a step and a half down below the note I've been holding. Only went a whole step. And then for the final one, for the A minor chord, same as what you played in the first place. So make sure that the note that you're holding, for some reason that it might happen, don't let it. Don't move that note. Don't, if you find yourself pulling it for some reason because you're trying to help yourself bend, you can't do that. And like I said, if you got the floating bridge, you're going to have to either switch to a guitar that doesn't, lock the bridge, or start applying a little bit of pressure to the bridge so it doesn't raise up. Because that note is meant to be pure, while the other one has got the bend being applied to it. And can you add vibrato to double stop bends? Sure. let's not focus in on that right now. Let's just get the idea of holding a note static while we bend another lower adjacent string to a pitch. In this case, they're all whole steps. Okay. So let's go over to the track and play that. I'll play it for you. I'm going to play it for you 4 times so we can get set up to trade.